When you look into the future of Lewisville, what do you see? Jack Welch, longtime chairman and CEO of General Electric, said, "Business leaders create a vision, articulate the vision, passionately own the vision, and relentlessly drive it to completion." The history of Lewisville, Texas has been built by people with vision and drive. When settlers came to this land on the banks of the Trinity River in the 1840s, they had a vision of a home for their children and grandchildren. They planted the roots from which Lewisville has grown. When business and community leaders organized an election in 1925 to incorporate as a city, they had a vision of a community in which their families and businesses could grow and thrive. What is the vision for Lewisville today? That question was at the heart of the Lewisville 2025 planning process. The resulting Lewisville 2025 plan tries to answer that question and to instill in her people the drive to make the shared vision a reality yet again. The intent of the Lewisville 2025 visioning process was to find out what current and prospective residents, business operators, and visitors want Lewisville to be when we turn 100 in the year 2025. The Lewisville 2025 Vision Plan will define the city we want to be in the future and set a basic roadmap for getting there. This process started more than a year ago at the City Council annual retreat in February 2013. Input was gathered through public meetings, live and online surveys, electronic forms, and interviews. More than 1,500 comments and suggestions were received and cataloged. A 50-member committee of volunteers was appointed, and they worked with city staff and professional consultants to try clearly defining a vision for Lewisville. They developed a list of major goals and recommended actions toward those goals. In the end, all those comments from the public were combined with committee recommendations, research by professional consultants, and work already done by city staff to come up with a shared vision for Lewisville. In order to make that vision a reality, we've come up with 9 major areas of activity that we are calling Big Moves. It is these 9 big moves that form the heart of the Lewisville 2025 implementation. The big moves are not listed in order of priority because all 9 are considered important pieces of the overall vision. But the 9 big moves are creating a green centerpiece, extending the green, Old Town Lewisville, thriving neighborhoods, new neighborhood choices, employment centers, identity focal points, communications and marketing, and sustainability. One big move is creating a green centerpiece for Lewisville. As this map shows, there is the potential for a 4,000-acre green space in the heart of Lewisville that no other community in North Texas could match. This would truly set Lewisville apart from other cities. The target of this big move is to take advantage of assets we already have that can't be created from scratch: Lewisville Lake, the Trinity River Elm Fork, and the Leland Nature Preserve. With careful planning and promotion, this green centerpiece could create an urban wilderness that will position Lewisville to be the North Texas leader in next-generation development. A closely related big move is extending the green to connect the green centerpiece to the rest of Lewisville. This would use parks and trails, customized development, and other amenities to give all Lewisville residents and businesses easy access to the green centerpiece, and would spread this new nature-focused identity to all parts of the city. In turn, this will help attract new businesses and residents who want to enjoy a healthy green lifestyle. This big move also is important as a way to prioritize elements of the current Parks Master Plan, which contains more than $200 million worth of possible improvements. We can't do everything all at once, and this focus will provide a lens through which the impact of each project can be examined. Our next big move revolves around historic Old Town Lewisville. Old Town includes most of the areas east of Interstate 35E and northwest of Business 121, with special emphasis on the Old Town core along Main and Mill Streets. The intent is to continue transforming Old Town into a viable regional destination that preserves our history, encourages business and residential growth, and creates a special place to live, work, and visit. While some cities are investing tens of millions of dollars to create a downtown district from the ground up, Lewisville already has one. That is why City Council has made this project a priority since development of the Lewisville 2010 plan. Carrying out this big move will include encouraging suitable private development, cost-efficient public investment, drawing visitors through events, and fashioning a marketable identity for Old Town Lewisville. Every successful city needs thriving residential neighborhoods, which is the subject of the next big move. This map is certainly not comprehensive, but it gives an idea of the target areas to encourage and protect thriving residential neighborhoods. It is important to maintain the relevance and property values of our residential areas if we want to maintain the relevance of Lewisville as a whole. We need to be the kind of place people choose for their home. Lewisville is an established city, and some of our residential areas are showing their age. We need to work with residents to maintain the quality of those neighborhoods, and we need to act today to prevent possible neighborhood decline in the future. We also need to pay attention to new neighborhood choices, reflecting the wants and needs of the next generation of home buyers. This map shows where some of that new housing stock will be located, including the Castle Hills development, although there are many other areas where aggressive redevelopment could have a major impact. This big move is important because we need to make sure Lewisville has quality housing stock for people of all ages and all incomes. This also includes transit-oriented housing near our 3 DCTA A-train stations, where residents often have a completely different set of expectations. This big move includes eventual annexation of Castle Hills. Developing a plan for Castle Hills annexation is one of the top action priorities here. We need to figure out how, and at least a general idea of when, we will add that area to Lewisville. Other priorities for this big move include targeted redevelopment that could include public investment in some cases as a way to possibly replace some aging retail centers with true mixed-use developments. It also is important to understand that while the perception is that Lewisville has more than enough multifamily housing already, some areas near transit stations or in Old Town need that kind of development. The next big move is employment centers, having places in Lewisville where people can find the well-paying jobs of today and of tomorrow. This map shows some of the areas that already are home to hundreds, even thousands of jobs. It also shows areas that we expect to become significant employment centers during the next decade. The target here is to take advantage of our strengths, location, workforce, infrastructure, to enhance current employment and attract new jobs to Lewisville. Why is this important? Lewisville currently has about 45,000 jobs, so we already are a major employment location within North Texas. But to stay competitive, we need to continue growing that employment base with a mix of good jobs located close to our neighborhoods and highways. Another Lewisville 2025 big move is creating identity focal points at major entries into the city. This map shows the top 3 focal points located along Interstate 35E at our north and south borders and at the crossing of Business 121. All 3 create a strong first impression in the minds of potential residents, visitors, and shoppers, and all 3 are about to receive increased attention. The idea here is that having a series of well-planned identity focal points at key locations will contribute to a new and improved identity for Lewisville that will have a positive impact far beyond the highway corridor. These focal points will make people feel good about entering Lewisville and will encourage them to stop and stay a while. They also will spur the kind of long-term development that can carry our local economy well into the 21st century. Lewisville 2025 identifies 3 specific focal points. The first is the Southern Gateway, as shown on this map, running from the 121 tollway to just north of FM 3040. These zones are featured elements of the Interstate 35E corridor plan being prepared for council consideration. The North Gateway is the interstate corridor running south from the Lewisville Lake Bridge. Some of you might have seen maps of this area showing the city's desire for a lakeside resort hotel development. That lakeside development received strong support through the Lewisville 2025 planning process, and working toward that project is an action priority for the Northern Corridor. The Central Gateway is located on either side of the interchange with Business 121 and includes segments of Business 121 on either side of the freeway, as shown on this map. This project might require the most work because there are so many moving parts. Action priorities include working with current property owners to find new and prosperous ways to upgrade or replace those uses. The next big move, communications and marketing, was prioritized in some form by all 4 of the Lewisville 2025 subcommittees. The consensus was that Lewisville has a lot of good stories to tell, and that we need to keep finding new and better ways to tell those stories. The target of this big move is to prepare for the communication tools that will emerge during the next 10 years. Remember, 10 years ago, most people had never heard of this strange new website called the Facebook. So no one can possibly know what will dominate our communications 10 years from now. Expanded communication and marketing efforts are important because, even though we can't make everyone listen when we tell the stories of Lewisville, we need to at least make information available. One of the most repeated comments we heard from the public was a desire for more and better communication and for easier lines of public input. To make this happen, we're developing a 3-year citywide communication plan that will incorporate results from an overall communications audit and a brand assessment. We are focused on creating a coordinated citywide marketing effort and will develop and implement a detailed marketing plan. The final big move is sustainability. This is a very broad topic with a lot of possible applications, but the Lewisville 2025 Committee tried to narrow the focus so we can move toward being a community that is desirable and thriving for the long term, not just for today. For Lewisville, sustainability means our limited resources, including natural resources, open land, and public finances, are used efficiently to provide a desirable quality of life and a business climate that will serve current and future generations. Combined with the green centerpiece, this big move can change the perception of Lewisville by changing how we operate as a city and how we live as a community. The undeniable fact is that many of the resources we depend on, clean water, open land, public dollars, are limited, so we need to use them wisely. Through these 9 big moves, the Lewisville 2025 plan clearly defines a shared vision for a city that will be highly attractive to residents, businesses, and visitors when it turns 100 years old. The vision that led to the creation of Lewisville in the 1840s and its formal incorporation in 1925 are still alive today. The roots started way back then are deep and strong. It is on those roots that the Lewisville 2025 plan will help shape a bright future for the residents of today and the residents of many more tomorrows.